Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to be solving linear systems by adding or subtracting using what's called elimination. So let me just write that here. Elimination. So elimination, as some of you may know, elimination is when you get rid of something. It's completely gone. So what we need to do to find elimination is basically we're finding the opposite of a number. We're trying to get rid of that number. So if we have 4 here, a positive 4, well, what is the opposite of positive 4? Well, that's going to be negative 4. So 4 minus 4 gives us 0. We eliminated the 4, we got rid of it, so we end up with 0. What is the opposite of minus 2x or negative 2x? Well, the opposite of negative 2x is positive 2x. Negative 2x plus 2x, that gives us 0. Here, 5y, positive 5y. What's the opposite of that? Well, the opposite of positive is negative. Negative 5y is the opposite of positive 5y. 5y minus 5y, that gives us 0. Just like over here, what's the opposite of negative 8? Positive 8. Negative 8 plus 8, that gives us 0. So, we are eliminating our numbers by finding the opposite of them. We're finding the 0. Down here it says, what would I do to get rid of or eliminate the x's from the left side? Well, here we have our x on the left side, and here's our x on the left side. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the opposite. That's how we get rid of or eliminate the x's. So what's the opposite of positive 2x? Well, that's negative 2x. So we would eliminate that 2x by putting in negative 2x. That gives us 0. So now all we're left with is negative 4y equals 8. We eliminated the x's. Here we have a negative 3x, so we need to find the opposite of that. Opposite of a negative is a positive, so positive 3x. So negative 3x plus 3x, well, that cancels out, it gives us 0. So what we're left with is 5y equals negative 10. We eliminated the x's. So what we're going to be doing for solving these systems is we're going to be eliminating something. We have to eliminate either the x or the y. Now remember, when we're solving linear systems, we're always going to have our answer as an ordered pair. So we're going to need an x and a y. So just because you found an x doesn't mean you're done. You're going to need to find a y, or vice versa. If you can find a y, you need to find the x. So just looking at this first problem, what can we find that is the opposite? Well, if we look at 3y, we need to find something else that has a y. So if we look down at the other problem, we have a positive 3y and a positive 5y. 5y is not the opposite of 3y. So we have to look at the x. 2x, well, that's positive 2x. And we have a negative 2x. Negative 2x is the opposite of positive 2x. So we can eliminate that. So we'll eliminate the x's. And this means now we're going to add our other variables. So we're basically combining our terms. So if we have 3y plus 5y, that gives us 8y. So we get 3y plus 5y gives us 8y. Then we're adding still, so we have to add our 11 plus 13. 11 plus 13, that gives us 24. So now we just have a y. We need to solve for this y. So we can divide by 8. Those cancel out. We get y equals 24 divided by 8. Well, that's 3. So y equals 3. So we know our y. Now we need to find our x. So how we find our x is we need to take this 3 and we need to plug it in for a y. Now it doesn't matter which y we plug it into because both of these equations should give us the same answer. So I'm just going to plug it in for this y here. So we get negative 2x plus 5. Now we plugged in 3 for y, so times 3 equals 13. So we have negative 2x plus 5 times 3 equals 13. Well, 5 times 3, that's 15. And we get negative 2x plus 15 equals 13. So now we have to solve for x. So we're going to subtract 15. And we get negative 2x equals 13 minus 15, which is negative 2. Divide by negative 2. And we get x equals negative 2 divided by 2. Well, negative 2 goes into negative 2 only once. So our x then is going to be 1. So our answer is 1, 3. Alright, so if we look at this next one, we need to figure out if we have any opposites. So let's start off by looking at our x's. We have 4x on top and negative 2x on the bottom. Those are not opposite, so we have to leave the x's alone for now. Now on here we have negative 3y and positive 3y. Those are opposites because negative 3y is the opposite of positive 3y. So what we're going to do is we're going to add both of these equations. Because these are opposites, we can eliminate them using elimination. And we get 4x plus a negative 2x. So that's basically saying 4 minus 2x, and we get 2x equals 5 plus a negative 7, or 5 minus 7, which is negative 2. So now to find x, we divide by 2. And we get x equals negative 1. So, in our ordered pair, we know that x equals negative 1. So we're going to take this negative 1, and now that we know that it equals x, we're going to take the negative 1 and we are going to replace it with the x. Doesn't matter which equation, we'll just do the top one this time. So we get 4 times negative 1 minus 3y equals 5. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4 minus 3y equals 5. Now we're going to add 4 to both sides to get rid of it. We're doing the opposite of negative 4 by adding 4. So we get negative 3y equals 5 plus 4, which is 9. Then we divide by negative 3, and we get y equals negative 3. 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. So if y equals negative 3, then our answer, our solution, is negative 1, negative 3. Alright, next one, we are looking for opposites. So we'll start with our x's because they're first. 2x and negative 4x. Are those opposites? Well, no, they're not, because this is 2 and this is 4, so those can't be opposites. So we go to our y's. We have plus 5y and minus 5y. Looks like opposites to me. We have a plus 5 and a minus 5, so a positive 5 and a negative 5. Those are opposites. So we are going to eliminate those, and we get 2x plus negative 4x. 2x plus negative 4 is negative 2x equals 12 plus 6, which is 18, divided by negative 2. Divide that by negative 2, and we get x equals 18 divided by negative 2, which is negative 9. So we know now that our x is negative 9, but we're still looking for our y. So we're going to take this negative 9, and we're going to plug it in for one of our x's. We'll plug it in for this one. So we get 2 times negative 9 plus 5y equals 12. Now if we solve this, we'll get our y because that's the only variable we have left. 2 times negative 9, that's negative 18, plus 5y equals 12. Well, we have to get 5y by itself, so we're going to do the opposite. We're going to eliminate the negative 18. So we're going to add 18 to both sides. That gives us 0, and we get 5y equals 30. Now to get y by itself, we divide by 5. And we get y equals 30 divided by 5, which is 6. So our answer comes out to be negative 9, 6. Alright, the next problem, we have 16y minus 3x equals 33, and the negative 11y plus 3x equals negative 18. Now, this doesn't look like a system of equations because they're not, there's not one over the other. But we can easily fix that by just taking our equations, 16y minus 3x equals 33, and putting our other equation right underneath it. So now we can get rid of this equation because we just put it right here underneath it. So if we look at our two y's, 16y minus 11y, those two aren't opposites. But negative 3x and positive 3x are opposites, so we can eliminate those. So what we're left with then is 16y minus 11y, which is 5y, equals 33 minus 18, which gives us 15. 33 minus 18, sorry. Divide by 5 to get y by itself. And we get y equals 15 divided by 5, which is 3. So we don't know our x, but we know our y is 3. So now we're going to take that 3 and we're going to plug it in somewhere for y. So if we just plug it in for this top y, we get 16 times 3 minus 3x equals 33. 16 times 3, that is 48, minus 3x equals 33. Now we have to do the opposite of the 48 to move it over to the other side, so we're going to subtract 48. We get negative 3x equals 33 minus 48, which is negative 15. Divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. Those cancel out. We get x equals negative 15 divided by negative 3, which is positive 5. So our x then is positive 5. Alright, last couple problems. Here we have x plus 5y equals 28, and negative 2y minus x equals negative 13. Now, if we look at this problem, our x and our two x's aren't lined up, and our two y's aren't lined up. So we have x minus 2y and 5y minus x. How are we going to find the opposite? Well, all we need to do then is just flip them around. So instead of negative 2y minus x, we can just flip that around and give us negative x minus 2y equals negative 13. Now we can see if we have any opposites. Well, x and negative x, we have 1x and negative 1x. Those cancel out because they're opposites. Positive 1x is the opposite of negative 1x, so it eliminates. Now we have 5y minus 2y. Well, that gives us 3y equals 28 minus 13, so we get 15. So we're going to divide by 3 to get y by itself. And y equals 15 divided by 3, which is 5. So our ordered pair comes out, we don't know what x is, but we know y is 5. Now we're going to take this y, or this 5, and we're going to plug it in for some other y. We can do the top one, or the bottom one if you want to, but we're just going to do the top one up here. So we get 1x plus 5 times 5 equals 28. Well, 1x stays the same, so we bring that down. Plus 5 times 5, that's 25, equals 28. Trying to get x by itself, so we subtract 25 to eliminate it. Got to bring it over to the other side. And we get 1x equals 28 minus 25, that's 3. Divide by 1, divide by 1, x equals 3. So our solution then is 3, 5. Alright, so if we look at this next problem, we need to try to find our opposites. Well, we have 2x and negative 4x. Those two aren't opposites because they're different numbers. Here our two 5's are the same number, but one is positive and the other is positive. So those aren't opposites. So we have no opposites for this problem. So technically right now we can't do elimination because we don't have opposites. One way to give us opposites is just to multiply one of these equations by negative 1. If we already have two numbers that are the same, we can multiply the whole thing by negative 1. So if we multiply this all by negative 1, we get negative 1 times negative 4x, that's positive 4x, And negative 1 times positive 5, that's negative 5y. And then negative 1 times 6, that's negative 6. So now we have this equation. If we want to, we can bring this equation down just to make it a little bit look a little bit better. So we have 2x plus 5y equals 12. Now we can eliminate our 5's because we have a negative 5y and a positive 5y. So we're going to add these up. 4x plus 2x gives us 6x equals negative 6 plus 12. That gives us positive 6. Divide by 6. Divide by 6. X equals 6 divided by 6, which is 1. So we know that our x is 1. Last thing we got to do is find our y. So we're going to take this 1 and we are going to put it in for an x. So let's put it in for this x. Doesn't matter which one you do again. So then we get 2 times 1 plus 5y equals 12. So 2 times 1, that's 2, plus 5y equals 12. We are moving this 2 over, so subtract 2. So we get 5y equals 12 minus 2, which is 10. Divide by 5. And divide by 5 over here. Y equals 10 divided by 5. That's 2. So our y equals 2. Our solution is 1, 2.